Good morning, everybody, and I want to start this video. I started a new video series. I started a video series years ago, Tennessee and Clearwater and where I was at. But I really want to start a good series, and I want to start the series off by telling you why I left ministry back in August. Many of you know that I did ministry in Clearwater for 15 years at Center of Hope, and then I took a sabbatical for a little while, and I went to Tennessee and tried a different man's ministry, and it wasn't good for me. It's religious, very religious up there. And then I went to Colorado, and I got some healing. I got some real cool healing. And then I came back here, and when I came back, I didn't know what to do. I was Ubering, and I was delivering pizza, and that's a whole nother testimony, how God used that in my life. But he wanted me to. He just gave me keys to another building through my friend Robert. And when he gave me the keys, I thought that was it. I'm supposed to go back into ministry. So I did, and I did that for 2 years. And then I saw some things in my life that weren't complete, and the Lord told me to lay it down. And I said, okay, why do I gotta lay this ministry down? And once again, like I did the Center of Hope, and he says, because you're doing it for the wrong reason. He says, you're doing it to make me happy. And Daddy Dale, I'm already happy with you. He said that was it. I said, okay, because I want you. He told me this. He said, you're a really good pastor. He said, but you're not a good son. And I went, what's that supposed to mean? And he says, you know how to do things. You know how to receive as a pastor. You know how to go, okay, you're going to give me money because I'm helping these guys out. That's a good thing, right? He said, Dale, I want you to receive from me because you're my son, and no other reason. No other reason at all. Yeah, that was tough for me to swallow. So I said, okay, what's that look like? And he said Matthew 6:33, and he told me that years ago, Matthew 6:33, and seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. And so I've been studying that probably off and on for the last 2011, 9 years. And so that's where I'm at right now. And he wants me to receive, let's say like Luke 15, the prodigal son. I didn't go out and do some crazy stuff like the prodigal son did, but he wanted me to receive for not just being a good boy or not being a good pastor, or he just wanted me to receive because I'm his son. And that might be a message for somebody out there today. Because in Ephesians 4, it talks about, our calling. Our calling. And our first calling is not to be a pastor. Our first calling is not to be a husband or wife. Our first calling is not our job in life today. My first calling is not ministry. My first calling is to be a son. Because out of knowing that I'm his son, and knowing that he's a good daddy, that he takes care of his son, that everything else will come about. Everything. My prosperity, walking in health and healing, all that will come because I know his love for his son. So I say all this. So I left ministry. I left ministry back again in August after my second try, and the Lord told me. He says, because you don't know, I'm gonna go back. He says, you don't know how to be a good son. I said, what does that mean, Lord? He goes, you don't know how to receive as a son. You know how to receive as a pastor. You know how to receive when you're doing good for somebody else. There's a reason that your reason for receiving is only because you think you're being a good boy and being obedient. Well, Dale, I don't want you to receive like that anymore. I want you to receive as my son. And I said, okay, Lord, well, you got to teach me that. And so a few things fell into place in my life, and I'm learning right now about the kingdom of God and how it works, and reaping and sowing, and giving and receiving. I'm doing all that right now. But so I sat back and I pulled out my Bible and I said, okay, Lord, teach me how to be a son. And he took me to Luke 15, like I said earlier, and he showed me that just because that young man was as bad as he was, did not stop the blessing of the Father, did not stop the love of the Father, and did not stop the provision of the Father. It did not stop anything in his life. But when he returned back to the Father, his love is shown by the Father waiting for him at the gate. He was always looking, the Bible says he's always looking at the gate for the return of the Son. And so when the Son came back, he didn't get mad at him. He didn't chastise him. He didn't put him through a test. He didn't do any of that. He welcomed him back into his household. He gave him authority. This is a picture of us. When we received Jesus, he gave us back his authority by giving him his ring. He gave him a robe of righteousness. He justified. He gave him justification. It is just as if he had never done anything in his life bad. And as much as the Father could have done what he did, as much as the Father could have done, chastise him, put him a little sleep in the barn like the kid wanted. There's another thing I'll teach on, is that his identity changed. But let me say this, his identity never changed in the Father's eyes when he messed up. His identity changed in his own eyes. Because when he said he wanted to go back to the Father, and then he was going to turn around and say, look, I'll go sleep with the pigs and eat with the pigs, and I'll become a servant again in your household. The Father said, stop, time out. No. You are not a servant. You are not a pig in the pig pen with me. You are my son, and I will take care of you. I will continue the blessing in your life. I will give you back the life that I've always planned for you. I have not stopped thinking good about you. I have not been speaking good about you. I will not stop. I will not stop blessing you until you, not until, but he will not stop blessing this young man until he has the life that he always planned for him. And that's my new forward in life. That right now, I am trying to find the life that God has always planned for me. His life for me was never, ever just to be a pastor and to help others. I mean, that sounds like you religious people out there are going, what are you talking about? We're always supposed to serve God. And I got that. I know that. But our service comes out of our true identity of who we are in him. Our service doesn't come from being a pastor. You know, when I started going to school, all right, this is why I believe the blessing was really flowing in my life. I didn't even think this way, but now I see it. But when I first started school at Countryside Christian Center with Pastor John Lloyd at the school there, at the training center, I was never intended to be a pastor. Never intended. I just wanted to learn how to help people. This was my true motivation at the time. And people have changed me in that, and I'm supposed to act like a pastor and be a pastor, and that's not who I wanted to be. I wanted to be just another guy who helped other people. And so in that, I have a food pantry. It was just a joy. It was a joy to give away food. It was a joy to do this, and it just grew and it grew and it grew. And you know, many of you know I started with 4 boxes of bread that I got from the Helping Hands. I got 4 boxes of bread from there, and it grew to 6,000 pounds of food a month. That's what I was giving away. And that was before the Center of Hope started. And so in all that, I say that my motivation was pure when I first started doing ministry. And then it moved into, okay, I'm doing this for good people. That means people got to bless me and take care of me and blah, blah, blah. And that was the wrong motivation. I should have just kept on the motivation. I remember John Courtney. He came to me. And he was like 1 year ahead of me, or maybe in the same year. I can't remember, at Countryside Training Center, CCTC. And and he came to me and said this. He said, Dale, I'm going to get my license. And Pastor Lloyd's asked me to get my license. How come you're not going in with me? And I said, that's not really what I want to do. I don't want to be a pastor. I just want to help people. And he says, no. He says, you'll not get any funding unless you have the credentials behind it. And I thought about it, and so I did it, and I went forward and did it. I became a pastor. But really, pastorship is not a position or even part of your identity. Pastorship is on the inside of you. It's on the inside of you. Being a good dad, being a good parent, is on the inside of us. We want to be that good parent, or we want to be that good pastor, or we want to be that good leader. That comes from being a good son. And being a good son is learn how to receive from Daddy, Abba Father. So we're at 11 minutes right here, and I really want to keep it around 10. So I'm going to continue this in other ways. Yeah, I blocked the sun. I want to continue this other ways, and I want to teach you what I've learned over the last 9 years about how being a good son. And I'll tell you how I got there, and I'll tell you all sorts of cool stuff that's happening right now in my life. But it's just funny. All right? So I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. And I'm going to put this on my YouTube page. And if you want to go to my YouTube page and follow me, or you want to follow me on Facebook, or wherever else I have this, I love to share with you how my life is changing right before my eyes in all good ways. And I haven't been in ministry now for like 7 months. Right? August, September, October, November, December, January. 6 months I haven't been in ministry, and how God has shown me how He's going to bless me, even though I'm not in ministry, and I'm a pastor at this time, but I'm still a pastor. Everybody knows that. I struggle with that. I'll share that one with you next time. All right. God bless you guys. Have a good morning, and remember, think happy, be happy. God bless you guys. Have a good day.